Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Sports on the Positive Tip. It's Kenny along with Kenny Squared, where we have conversations at the intersection of sports and faith. And Kenny, like you said before we got on, happy opening day. You ready?
Yeah, I am excited. It's going to be a weird one though because the Yankees already played and they don't play today.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, we'll get into the Yankee game, which I thought was a perfect game. Um, Ken, do you see the starting center fielder for the Phillies since it's Johan Rojas, right? That got suspended for 80 games for steroid use. The starting center fielder is a guy named Justin Crawford. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't think so.
Well, see, this is where you and I and you are, both of us are getting old because you know who his dad is?
Is it Brandon Crawford?
Not Brandon Crawford, but Carl
Oh, Carl Crawford.
Crawford, who you probably saw his whole career. You
Oh
know,
yeah, easily.
it seemed like he can't be out of his 40s. Carl Crawford, who's a very good player. I actually was one of my favorite players because he had that speed, he had power, and he played on some really bad Tampa Bay teams until the and he was with them when they got good. He was an all-star several times, and then finished his career with the Dodgers. And so, but his son is good enough to make the major leagues. And if you after we get off, watch a quick video of him, it'll look like Carl Crawford. He has like the same type of batting stance as Carl Crawford. So I thought that was really interesting. I had no idea that he had a son that old that is now starting in center field for the Philadelphia Phillies on opening day. All right, you ready for some quick opening day baseball trivia? I don't know that you're going to
Yes.
get a lot of these, but I'm going to say them anyway. And I'll give you some hints. Which pitcher has the most opening day starts in Major League history? I'll tell you, he has 16.
16.
Former,
Uh,
former Met, passed away a couple of years ago. He didn't do all 16 with the Mets, though. I think he did about nine with the Mets, nine or 10.
not Tom Seaver.
Tom Seaver is correct. Good job.
Wow.
Who is the only pitcher to ever throw a no-hitter on opening day? Um, I'll give you a hint. It was right there in the city you now call home. Long
Not
time.
Johnny Vandermeer, right?
No, that's a good guess.
That's the guy. That's the guy that did two in a row.
Long time. Well, he played for the Cleveland Indians. Long time broadcaster after his career. Passed away also a few years ago.
I was gonna guess Bob Feller, but I'm
Bob
guessing not.
Bob Feller is correct. Good
Oh, it
job.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob Feller, 1940. He threw a no hit. Can you imagine throwing a no hitter on opening day? Um, let's see. Who's the only player, the only pitcher to throw a shutout, complete game shutout on opening day, but also hit a home run in the same game? This one I don't think you're gonna get. I can give you a hint that it was also there with Cleveland. Um, and he was a Yankee manager, but he was Yankee manager before your time, like in the 70s when he took Billy Martin's place in the 70s.
That could be anybody.
That could be
Uh,
Bob Lemon. Bob Lemon.
okay.
Uh, Now, it doesn't say how many here, but what pitcher do you think has the most career opening day strikeouts? This is right up your wheelhouse. He's now a Hall of Famer, but you watched pretty much all of his career. No, in this team that was out in the Pacific Northwest.
King Felix? No.
No,
Rand Randy Johnson?
Randy Johnson is correct. Three players are tied for the major league record for most opening day home runs. Three guys hit 8 home runs on opening day. Two of them you watched pretty much their whole career, and one you would know you never saw his career, but you saw him as a manager. And he was a great manager and a Hall of Fame player.
Oh, I was gonna say Mike Scioscia, but that's probably not.
Not Mike Scioscia. Well, the two players, I'll give you the hints. One was he was either all a home run or strikeout through his career. Played for a bunch of teams, the Reds, the White Sox,
Oh,
primarily.
that's probably Adam Dunn, right?
Adam Dunn is correct. The other is just one of the best players of all time. Also, most of his career out in the Pacific Northwest.
Griffey?
Ken Griffey Jr., absolutely. And the other was the first African American manager.
Oh, Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson is correct. All right. Um, let's see if I could get you one more here. Let's see. Oh, do you know what year the first night game was played on opening day?
Ooh, let's
It's a
go with
long
like.
time. You would think it wouldn't be a long time ago, but it was 1950.
Oh,
1950.
I was gonna
I
say like
think,
1970s,
yeah,
but
it was
okay.
1950, and I think it was there in Cleveland as well, by the way. All right, lots to get to. Opening day, the Mets are getting ready to tee off against Paul Skeens. We got to talk about last night. We got a bunch of stuff. We've got your charts for baseball, and then we've got some NCAA tournament. Oh my gosh, great games tonight. We got to talk about St. John's because New York is a buzz about St. John's. A little NBA and then some inspiration. You ready to get going?
Yeah, let's get into it.
This episode of Sports on the Positive Tip is brought to you by the Tavern Coffee House. Attention, coffee lovers! Are you craving the perfect cup of coffee to start your day? Well, look no further than the Tavern Coffee House. It's located at 12302 Buckeye Road in Cleveland, Ohio. You can also check them out and order your coffee at thetaverncoffee.com. Hey there, everybody. This is Kenny and
Kenny Squared.
with the Sports on the Positive Tip podcast. And if it seems like there's a pep in our step a little bit more than usual, because it is opening day for baseball. Even though it was opening night last night for your Yankees and the Giants. And we've got some great NCAA tournament, Sweet 16 happening tonight. New York is a buzz with St. John's being in the Sweet 16. First time since 1999. Can they get to the Final Four, which would be the first time since 1984? And it is just really an exciting time. Maybe it was 85. I think it was 84. Maybe it was 85. But anyway, it's been a very, very long time since St. John's was even a little bit successful. So Rick Pitino working his magic, which he always does anywhere he goes, except in the NBA, you know. But all right, so Kenny, let's get into it. Yankees spanked the Giants last night, 7-0. It was almost like a perfect game to me, you know, with the exception of the first inning when the Giants threatened. But the Yankees got the big double play, if I remember right, you know, to get them out of the inning. Max Fried pitched great, clutch hitting from the Yankees. Only Aaron Judge didn't have a great night, but so what? Stanton gets a big hit. The Yankees put together a couple of really good rallies. Trent Grisham with the long triple up that dead man's alley in San Francisco. Disappointing for the Giants with, Buster Posey. I mean, it's only one game, right? But Buster Posey really rolling the dice with Tony Vitello. Did you know, you probably heard this on the broadcast, that he's the first manager ever to not do anything in professional baseball, not in the minors, not in the pros, MLB, wasn't even a minor league player. His whole career has been in college. Didn't start too well for him last night, but I mean, it's just one game. So give us your recap of the game and your recap of the broadcast.
Yeah, so I'll start with well, let's start with the broadcast because it's interesting. First of all, being on Netflix, I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of annoying because it's like, okay, so I need Netflix, I need Peacock, I need Apple TV,
yeah,
I need MLB TV if I'm not in the local area. And
yeah,
if I am, I'm also going to need Yes Network.
yeah,
A couple of ESPN games might be mixed in there.
yeah.
There's just a lot of things. I know also
Sort of like the
Prime.
sort of like the NBA this year, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's just I think that's a bigger system issue. I liked like okay, a few things I liked about the broadcast. Matt Sturgeon was okay. I mean, he calls games well.
he's solid. Yeah.
Definitely called Logan Webb, Brandon Webb multiple times.
Did you pick that up too? I was a little surprised at that. You know, Brandon Webb, Cy Young winner, right? But several years ago now, Brandon Webb hasn't pitched in a while, right? With the Dodgers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
surprised.
he hasn't pitched in a while, so
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard, and I understand it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Of course.
I liked Sabathia and I liked Hunter Pence. I liked both of them on the call. I thought that they were really good.
Yeah, more.
Um,
I want to see more of them. Absolutely.
yeah. So I totally get. I really like them. I thought that they were really good on the broadcast. Um, the score bug was weird. Like it was really hard to follow like what was happening. Like if you're like there and looking at the count, like it was really hard to follow. Um, my biggest issue though is it kind of felt like they were trying to do too much entertainment in the game itself. Um, because like I like the player interviews, like having Jazz on there. I think that was great. Talking to the managers, like kind of that typical stuff. But like some of the extra stuff, like I'm forgetting his name, the guy that was in McCovey Cove for a minute. Like it
Oh
just kind
yeah,
of took away from the
yeah,
action.
yeah.
Um, and then during one of the interviews, they're like everyone's all hyping about the first ABS, and it happens while they're in an interview, and like they didn't cut to it at all.
Right. Yeah, that was a
Like
mess. Yeah,
I thought that that was kind of a missed opportunity
first
there.
one in history.
Yeah. So like they're authenticating Caballero's helmet because they're gonna take it to the Hall of Fame because of that significance. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's and then like I like Jameis Winston. I think he's a great guy and I think he's really entertaining and has fun in whatever he's doing. Um, but like it felt like it was a little long and like and I don't mind like the in-game interviews and such, but also you got to keep the score bug on. You got to like continue to kind of let the game happen.
yeah.
Because I didn't track that Aaron Judge struck out a fourth time until it was his fifth at bat because I kind of missed it in like the interviews.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
either way,
yeah,
it's also their first one, so I guess, and it's going to be I think their only one at this point for the year. We'll see.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so as far as the game goes, I think people will focus on the Aaron Judge 0 for 4 and 4 strikeouts or 0 for 5 and 4 strikeouts
yeah.
and look at it as a bad thing. Actually, look at it as a good thing because they scored 7 runs without Aaron Judge contributing anything.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah,
and also they scored 7 runs without hitting a home run, which they led the league in home runs last year. They led the league in basically everything offensively. Um, but my biggest takeaway, aside from like Max Fried, who like shoved and was amazing, um, my biggest takeaway is like I think everyone's sleeping on the Yankees. Like I looked at a lot of predictions. A lot of people have like the Blue Jays, the Red Sox winning division. But like this team did bring back everyone. But like their offense had the was the best offense, better than the Dodgers last year in basically every category. And on top of that, like people talking about the whole running it back thing. 2 of the 4 starters they're starting the year with were not in the rotation at the beginning of last year, in Cam Schlittler and Ryan Weathers. Um, and on top of that, you're adding in Carlos Rodon, you're adding in Garrett Cole at some point in the year, and potentially the forgotten guy of Clark Schmidt, who should be back. I'm assuming like definitely post All Star game. Um, but I think one of the bigger takeaways for me is like I feel like even myself a little bit like I think we might have been sleeping a little bit on the way this roster is constructed.
yeah, yeah.
Now, Ben Rice has to be a big part of them taking that lead. Um, Jazz giving the production he had last year, Trent Grisham as well. And yes, it's only one game. I think though one of the bigger things that I like moving forward is the versatility on the bench. Randall Grichuk, known Yankee killer, is now kind of their right-handed platoon guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Paul Goldschmidt had an excellent spring. I think he fits in the role of like part-time player facing a tough lefty type of guy. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ahmed Rosario and Ascara, who's kind of just the backup catcher. But I really like the way that they've kind of built this team. And it also seems like they like playing together.
Mm-hmm.
And while you have other teams where you have new guys in place, I look at the Dodgers, Kyle Tucker, the Mets, obviously, with their new pieces. Like the Yankees' chemistry can already kind of be set. and they can kind of build on it.
Yeah.
But I think what it'll come down to is this starting pitching is what'll be the reason why they win the division. Um, Max Fried, one of the best starts you'll see in an opening day like that.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to be Max Fried there, and then followed up with Carlos Rodon, and followed up with Cam Schlittler, and followed up with Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Like, that would be, if everyone could stay healthy, that's a very hard rotation to beat. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for this team, and I'm sad that they're not playing today.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. I think that you know, on that note, Vasgersian, and again, because he messed up a little bit, who cares? He's solid. He's a solid play-by-play guy as well as on the MLB network. But I was puzzled, and this goes to your point. He said that when Cody Bellinger came up, he said, "Is that big off-season addition?" And I was like, "Oh, well, wait a minute. Then wasn't he with the team last year? It's like, but it was big that they signed him and to bring. So that part of it is correct. I wouldn't say he's an addition, right? But I think them bringing back the core. I think why people are sleeping on the Yankees a little bit is because they didn't add like they normally do, a lot of other guys, right? The Yankees are known for signing a lot of different players. This kind of seems like a different Yankee era in terms of where Cashman is at right now. He's a little bit more prudent with where he spends his money. I mean, 165 million for Bellinger is nothing to sneeze at, right? That's a great deal for Bellinger. But I think that it's a little bit of a different Yankee era. So I think that's where people are sleeping on them. But I agree with you. This is one heck of a dangerous lineup up and down, especially if Stanton. Every year I say this, that Stanton is a big key for this team, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That was another thing. He scored from second on a single. I don't know the last time
he,
I've seen that.
he looks healthy. Yeah, I mean, he looks healthy. He was running well last night, and I just think that the pitching is going to be the key to any of these teams being successful this year in both leagues. And the Yankees have got it. We mentioned last week the Tigers and their starting pitching, but the Yankees, I think, will match right up, with them. So, I got to ask you one other question about Jameis Winston. I hinted at this before we got on the air. I got the joke about, with L. Duncan is, I didn't see much of the pregame. I had it on, but I was doing something else. But Elle Duncan is a pro, right? She's going to keep it moving. She's done this for a long time, and that's a good fit for her. The thing is, they're paying her a lot of money. I don't know what else she's going to do, in terms of sports, because Netflix doesn't have a ton of sports just yet, but that's their problem. Um, but when she shot it to Jameis Winston, I understood the first joke because, people totally forget about the trouble he had gotten into in college because he's built a whole different image. He's a different person than he was back there for sure. But the second part of the joke where he said nobody, a lot of people have died from crab legs ever since Barry Bonds left. I didn't get that. What was that referring to? Do you have any clue about that?
I got nothing.
Yeah. We're
I don't
gonna have
know.
to look that up. I have no clue what he meant by that. Um, anyway, great start for the Yankees. The Giants, I mentioned this, right? Taking a chance on Tony Vitello, and we don't know it's one game, right? But Buster Posey, the great Buster Posey. I mean, and this is a good lineup, at least from 1 to 5, 1 to 6, that the Giants have, and the Giants have some good pitching as well. And I think that was the one text I sent to you. That the Yankees. I think I sent you two texts. I said they're taking care of business. I said, and they're doing this off of Logan Webb, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And I know it's early, and Webb also pitched in the in the World Baseball Classic. So maybe he's a little bit off, but I don't want to take anything away from the Yankees. They did do it against one of the best pitchers in baseball, not just the National League. Um, but that's a big roll of the dice with a talented team, a talented team like the Giants are. I mean, you've got Rafael Devers in his prime, Willie Adames, first guy to hit 30 home runs in a while. Matt Chapman is healthy. So, I mean, this is a spot for the Giants to contend, and you've given now the team to a guy who doesn't have any pro experience at all. But Buster Posey, I think, is a pretty smart baseball guy who I think he sees something in this guy that's special. So we'll see. I mean, nothing last night. I mean, they got shut out last night, but the Giants should contend this year. They should be a playoff team the way they're built. But we'll see. Um, let's go to your chart. You ready to go to your chart? Let me
Let's go.
share the screen, and let's go ahead and get that up here and fire away as we are at opening day. Let me take down this floating controls here. All right, there we go. Fire away, man. Talk to us.
All right. So I kind of expanded it a little bit here.
Yeah,
Um, Maybe we start out hot. Like we're not going to talk about these teams, the bottom, unless we're like, oh, the Minnesota Twins started out 10-2.
yeah.
Or wow, how are the Rockies 5-0? Like, um, other than that, it's like, man, I don't know what you look forward to with any of these guys. Like Minnesota, they didn't really add anything. They sold at the deadline and kind of kept it. Colorado had the worst record and didn't do much to do anything. Um, was Alek Manoah the best signing for the Angels? Which that would be a problem. I know it's not, but I mean, it kind of feels that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Cardinals are doing, and also they extended Arlie Marmol. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, and then the Washington Nationals are rebuilding from their rebuild. So we'll see. Um, the next tier, bright spots, but not a bright season. I think these teams will have those moments where you're like, oh wow, that was fun, or wow, they took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, or like go on a stretch. But I don't know if they're going to end up having a bright season. The Diamondbacks, unfortunately, they've had some injury hits, so we'll kind of see if they can be maybe a second half type of team. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they were like 20 games over 500 after the All Star break. Like you look
Well,
at the
okay.
the post All Star break records, and they're one of the tops. Like
Yeah.
they need to get help.
Yeah.
The White Sox too. Like I think they're going to make another step forward,
Oh, yeah. I think
and
so.
like there's going to be a lot of fun moments. But like especially look at their division where you have Detroit, where you got the Guardians. Kansas City might be interesting. Um, it's going to be a minute for them. The Marlins too. The Marlins also rebuilding from their rebuild when they started rebuilding again.
Hmm.
Um, like I don't know what to think of them, but they have a few like really exciting young guys that might make an impact.
You do.
I still
Yeah.
can't figure out the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be nice to see them at Tropicana Field again.
Hmm.
Um, but still, in the end, it's hard to really say that they are going to be a good team, especially when you look at the rest of their division.
Hmm.
Sneaky good. I think these 4 teams could be pretty good. The Royals have good pitching, and you can argue a top 5 player in Bobby Witt Jr. Um, the Pasquatch also obviously part of Team Italy, but he
Yeah.
had a really good year last year as
He's a good
well.
player. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so like they could be sneaky good. They especially like yeah, I think Detroit and Cleveland are the top teams in the Central, but like I wouldn't be that surprised if they won the division, they won a wild card or something like that.
Hmm.
We talked a little bit about the Giants. Definitely a weird hire with the manager. We'll see kind of how it goes as the year goes on. But like when I saw their starting lineup, I'm like, oh wow, that's actually a pretty good lineup. Luis
Yeah.
Ariz at the top of that lineup. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I forgot about him. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Devers, Chapman, like they have good guys. So we'll kind of see. Harrison Bader.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
he's not good, but he's a fun player to watch.
Yeah.
The A's also like I feel like maybe people might be sleeping on them a bit. They have a lot of good young guys. Severino, I mean, we saw him on the big stage in the WBC. He looked really good, and they didn't
Yeah.
trade him yet.
Yeah.
But also, it's hard to play in a minor league ballpark. It just really is.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the fans. Um, and then you got Pittsburgh. Uh, I mean, they're facing the Mets this week, but it's Paul Skeens, so it's hard to root against them.
Yeah.
Um,
I looked at their opening day lineup and I'm like, this is not bad. This is the best they've had in a while, right? They've got O'Neal Cruz leading off, and then they've got Brandon Lowe. Brandon Lowe had 31 home runs last year, you know. And they've got Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna. I like him a lot more than you do. I think he'll have a bounce back year. They've got 4 or 5 veterans now. Brian Reynolds in that lineup that, and combined with some of the young players they have coming up, I think you got the Pirates just right here because I think that they're going to make a move and. They tried to spend more money this year, and I think they've realized they've got not one but two really good starting pitchers. One who might be an all-time great. And how are they going to hold on to Skeens if they don't contend and make some money? To at least make a decent offer to him when it comes up. So I think you have them exactly right. They're a team I would be really watching this year.
Yeah, they could be very interesting.
Yeah.
And also, it would make a very good story if, let's say, they made a wild card and won 85 games,
Mm-hmm.
even if they get wiped by whoever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to think of a team, maybe the Phillies or something like that. But anyway,
Just
eh.
got the I'm sorry, I just got the alert that one Brandon Lowe just hit the first home run of the season
Oh,
against
there you
the
go.
Mets. Yeah, yeah. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Next tier is eh. Like, I don't know what to think of these teams. Um, the Padres, I don't know. It's hard to really gauge them because,
Yeah.
like, Tatis is excellent. Machado is excellent, but you didn't replace arguably your ace in Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
Um, the Reds, Terry Francona is a great manager.
Hmm.
Ellie De La Cruz is like the anchor in that lineup. Losing Hunter Green will hurt. Adding Suarez is fun, but like I don't know. I don't really I don't really have much feelings on them.
Yeah.
Same with the Astros. Like part of me wants to bury the Astros, but every time I do, they seem to have life again. So I don't know. And then last but not least in that tier is the Brewers. Uh, Obviously they traded away Freddie Peralta. They also traded Caleb Durbin, which I thought was kind of weird, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see. Um, the next one, off-season hype. I think these three teams might have been a little too much hyped from the off-season.
Hmm.
I'm not greatly high as some people are, because like I've seen people say each of these three teams have a chance to win the World Series. Which okay, yeah, they do, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like everyone is very high on the Braves. I don't really see it, but maybe I'm just like thinking that they'll be better because
Yeah.
injuries. I don't know.
They plug their
Um,
holes. If they're healthy, they're going to be dangerous, man.
yeah, but also like so will the Mets, so will the Phillies. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
not all three of those teams can win 90 games.
Right. Right.
So I don't know. The Orioles, like I know they had a better second half than after a atrocious first half.
Yeah.
Um, but they still don't really have good starting pitching.
Right.
Like I like their lineup. I think their lineup can be scary, especially adding Pete Alonso in the
Oh,
middle of that. But
he's gonna have a huge year. I
oh, I'm sure.
not a hard
Um,
prediction, but he's gonna have a huge year.
Another one, Tyler O'Neill. By the way, and this is a
Yeah.
opening day stat. He's
Yeah.
hit a home run in the last six straight opening days.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we'll see
Okay.
what happens today.
Yeah. Okay.
And then last is Texas. Like I know they added Mackenzie Gore, but like, is Jacob DeGrom really gonna throw 180 innings?
I don't know. That's great. I mean, that's the big if for them. I mean, because he was so good last year. I mean, he was the old Jacob DeGrom in spurts last year, but I don't know.
And I guess if he does, and they can actually have a formidable rotation like that, because you still have Evaldi and
Yeah.
obviously Gore,
Yeah.
I think they could be interesting. Um, and Wyatt Langford too could be a guy that kind of takes that next step of like, oh, is this guy a dark horse MVP candidate? Like a guy like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
underrated question mark. I put this mainly for the Yankees and the Phillies, where like
Yeah.
I think both of those teams, like they've been good, but a lot of people have been kind of like, oh, well, whatever. Detroit also, I don't know, maybe their rotation's really good, and maybe the underrated is just more me than anyone else.
Yeah.
Um, the Red Sox too. Although I've seen some people saying Red Sox are going to win the World Series, so maybe they're not as underrated, but
Yeah.
they kind of fit in that level.
Uh,
Cleveland too. Um, they finished the year great. Their manager has won Manager of the Year each of the last 2 years.
yeah.
They have a very good bullpen.
Yeah.
They have a top five player in Jose Ramirez, maybe top 10. Um, like they're a really good team, and yet no one really wants to say that they're better than Detroit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I, I like this category. I'll say this. I saw Tim Kurchin, who we love. I think Tim Kurchin knows more about baseball, both history and present, than a lot of people. He was asked on, pardon the interruption, I watched that yesterday. He was asked what team in the National League he thinks will really challenge the Dodgers, and he said the Phillies. But he said it depends on one thing, and that is Zach Wheeler's health, you know. But he thinks that the Phillies lineup is is second best in the National League, right behind the Dodgers. I thought that was interesting, and to me, coming from him, that meant a lot. I don't know why people are sleeping on the Tigers though. Maybe because of the collapse a little bit last year. And I also don't understand why more people aren't, riding with the Guardians. Red Sox, I'm hearing hype with them. I think the Red Sox are going to be very good. I think they'll be improved even from last year. But um, I think all of these, you put them all in. I think that's a good category to put them in.
Yeah, the Phillies too, like with Nola and Wheeler at the top two.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and also like Christopher Sanchez is good,
yeah,
and like
yeah,
that lineup is also still very good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
didn't
then,
I think it was didn't Trey Turner win the batting title for the National League?
I believe he did. Yes. You know, you got to get. I mean, these guys are starting to get to that point though, where they're a little bit older, right? Turner, Harper, and Schwarber. And remember, we said this last week, or I said it, and you agreed. The last thing you want is Harper to be a brooding superstar. So, I think that you could get one more great year out of those three guys. They're going to be very, very tough. I mean, that's with losing Castellanos, who they didn't want anyway, but also losing Ranger Suarez, who I think was a big loss for them. And he went to the Red Sox, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's such an under. I mean, speaking of underrated, he's a very underrated pitcher. He's just very good. Um, so this is going to be so interesting. These teams you have here. So go ahead, take it back away.
All right, top five. Honestly, like depending on how they look this week, they might be in a tier of their own. But the Dodgers, I mean, not much to say about them.
Yeah,
Dodgers and Blue Jays at this point, I still have to give respect to
yeah,
the defending champs and the defending AL champs. Um, I think that they've shown enough that they are still right there. A lot of people really like Seattle this year. I do too. I think that they have a really good rotation. They have a lockdown closer and give those guys in their lineup another year of experience, and I think
mm,
it helps.
yeah,
Um, Cubs and Mets are the other two. I think the Cubs are good. I just I don't really know where to put them,
yeah,
and I guess we'll kind of see. We'll see how the first couple of weeks shake out a little bit, and then obviously the Mets. I think the Mets have had a really good offseason. They have their guy that's like the lockdown ace. Um, Lindor's got to be fully healthy,
yeah,
and you got to hope that the makeshift defense works. Because like Juan Soto, with all of the great things that he does, he is not good defensively.
right.
Bo Bichette playing a new position for the first time. Polanco, not really a traditional first baseman. Like it can work, and I think that they can still do stuff, but
Yeah. Uh,
we'll
so,
just have to see.
so I was going to ask you the change because you put them. They weren't there last week. So what tipped you over the edge with putting the Mets up there as one of the top five teams? I'm not going to quibble with it because my expectations are extremely high. After I'm looking at their opening day roster, again, it was this offseason, all the years, and I've been following the Mets since I was 6, 7 years old, 7 or 8 years old, right? Probably eight is what I more remember. But this offseason was the most roller coaster. I hate them. I'm mad at them. Oh man, I'm liking them. I'm liking them. And now I do like this lineup. I think there's a good balance to this lineup. But what tipped you over to put them in the top tier here?
Honestly, I think it was just more of having a balance of American and National League. Because, like,
Hmm.
I think both leagues are pretty even,
Yeah, yeah.
minus the Dodgers. Um, I really do like the Mets rotation, and especially the potential in that rotation.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and still with Detroit, I think one of their bigger things is yes, they have great starting pitching. You're not going to get 30 starts from Verlander,
No,
but you
no.
might get 20 really good
Yes.
starts,
Yeah,
including the postseason.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I do like the Mets lineup a little bit more than I do like the Detroit because it was kind of between those two.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm toss up. I do like the Dodgers starting rotation and Shohei. What did he strike out 10 of the Angels in his tune up before the season starts. And
Tune up. Oh gosh.
they're saying he I saw this also read this somewhere yesterday that he's saying behind the scenes that he wants to now win a Cy Young. And I wouldn't put that past him, right? But put the Dodgers aside for a second. For me, it's Tigers, Yankees that have the best rotation. You know what? Yankees obviously not yet, right? Wait till the end of May, going into June. Once you get Cole back, um, but the Tigers with, and I've always loved Framber. Um, with him and Skubal and then Doherty, who I always have thought he was a little underrated. I'm glad he's kind of found a home there in Detroit. I think that top three, I said this before, I'll probably say it a lot more times during the season. That's a playoff, going into a division series nightmare for other teams. But I think the Tigers, people sleeping on their lineup is good. I don't think it's great, but I think the Tigers, people sleeping on because of their collapse last year. People remember that. So but the Mets rotation is good enough where Sean Manaea is starting in the bullpen. I don't know if you read that yet. So I think it's a good rotation, but a lot depends mostly on Kodai Senga, and what he does there. So all right, this is awesome. You did a great job with this, especially with no games just yet, right? The games are starting now. Let me stop sharing. And
Um,
yeah.
Also score update. It's 2-1 Pittsburgh.
Oh,
But I think the bigger thing right now is there's only one out, runners on first and second. 28 pitches so far for Paul Skeens.
oh wow. Okay. And Bo Bichette, I think, knocked in the run, right? Did it say that? Did I see that right?
Yeah, sack
Yeah.
fly.
Sacrifice fly. Okay. Yeah. Um, all right, we can't wait. We're gonna watch a little bit of baseball today. NBC is back. Oh, you made a face there. What happened?
Luis Robert walks, so the bases are now loaded.
All right, there we go.
Brett
Uh,
Beatty's up, so we'll keep you
yeah.
updated.
Well, that's the other thing. Baseball is back on NBC today, which is great. It's been a long time. I grew up with the game of the week on NBC for years and years. ABC came in like the mid late 70s with Monday Night Baseball, and then they rotated World Series for a while. But NBC was the staple through the 60s and 70s, and a good part of the 80s. I think most of the 80s, right? But they rotated World Series that year. Like the 86 World Series was on NBC, so I remember that. All right, let's shift. We got a lot of baseball to talk about as we go forward. Diamondbacks, Dodgers. You're gonna watch that tonight if you can.
Mm, I'll try. I think it is interesting though.
Yeah.
Vasgersian is he calling? I think he might be calling the Mets Pirates game.
Is he really all the way from San Francisco? Wow. Because that's an
Oh,
NBC
I
game.
saw that.
Wow. Maybe he is. He got on a red eye, huh?
Yeah.
Um, so Ken, we're right in at the Sweet 16 here with the NCAA tournament. But before we get to some of the games, I want to ask you about Hubert Davis got let go as head coach of North Carolina, and this is not my inspiration, but I'm not sure if you saw after the game they were asking him, was he afraid of, not afraid, I'm sure they didn't say afraid, but they think that, rumors are already out there that you may lose your job. And he said, well, my identity isn't, as a head coach, my identity is in Jesus Christ. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then the next day they relieve him of his duties. And I thought it was a shame because Hubert Davis, he played at North Carolina. And then, I like him especially because, he played on the Knicks team and for a few years. He was a first round pick from the Knicks, and he had some good years with the Knicks, and he was on the team that went to the finals in '94. Um, but then he goes into coaching. He goes back to North Carolina as an assistant coach, of course, under Roy Williams, and he had been there since 2012. So and he gets a head coaching job in 2021 and gets them to the Final Four the next year. And a lot of people say, it was all Roy Williams, players and everything like that. But, it doesn't matter. And North Carolina, I thought, was still good. And here's what I want to ask you, though. I think that college basketball has changed enough, right? That when you were coming up and when I was a kid, right? North Carolina has been one of the more consistent programs for years. So if you name them, right, you've got Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, no specific order, UCLA, um, Florida, Florida State, not Florida State so much in basketball, but Florida, Louisville, Kansas. Those are the prime jobs, right? We could throw Arizona in there, and I'll throw them in there for a reason in a second. Um, but is North Carolina still this huge, huge job? And the reason why I'm asking is because the rumor is that Tommy Lloyd, who's done a really good job since he replaced Sean Miller, right, at Arizona, and I think Arizona is going to get to the Final Four if they get past Arkansas. Um, but is North Carolina still considered a prime job with now you're paying all the players? Do players still care about the tradition of some of these programs? Michigan State, I didn't mention. You could throw them in there. Michigan. Is North Carolina still that prime job that is going to attract a top coach? And I have a name for you in a second. I think would be ideal for North Carolina. But what do you think?
Before I answer that, Brett Beatty triple,
Oh,
and then
oh,
Marcus Simeon double. So it is 5-2.
oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you
You
start.
you are tattooing off of Paul Skeens.
That's
So
how you start the season. Come on.
I would venture to guess. I don't know this for sure, but I would venture to guess that Paul Skeens has not given up 5 runs in a game,
Yeah.
potentially in his career,
Oh,
let alone in an inning. So we'll see.
not this early. Yeah. Okay.
Um. Oh wow, is that another walk? Oh no,
Nope.
it's a hit by pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. I would say I want to liken um North Carolina with like the Clippers, where it's like they're a part of like that same type of rivalry.
Yeah.
Obviously, UNC and Duke is bigger,
They're 8 miles
but like
apart too. They're only 8 miles apart, the campuses. I think that's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. So like I think in that regard there is the significance,
Yeah.
but also like there isn't a lot of loyal like kids nowadays growing up aren't going to say, "Oh, I really want to play for UNC," unless it's like I want to play where whoever my favorite player was.
Yeah.
For some would be Michael
That's a
Jordan.
great point. Yeah, that's a great point. Great point. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I think in that regard, I don't know if there's going to be like a lot of like say loyalty, but I do think it's still a high premier job, especially like if they can get back to being a big contender and also like anytime they play Duke, it's a big deal. So
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. I mean, maybe he will, but I don't know why Tommy Lloyd would leave Arizona. Because at this moment, would you say Arizona is as big of a program as North Carolina?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I don't know why he would leave there. Although we've seen some of that happen in college football, right? Here's a name I think that North Carolina can go after if they're looking to kind of break the lineage. Uh-oh, I see a look on your face there.
All Skeens is out of the game.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Johan Ramirez
All
has
right.
replaced him.
Wow. Is this still in the first inning?
Still in the bottom of the first.
Oh, wow.
His final line, two
That,
thirds of an inning, 5 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. The
wow.
defending Cy Young Award winner has a 67 ERA.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay. But I'm happy. So, um, Billy Donovan.
Oh, that would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're saying he probably wants to leave the Bulls,
No,
right?
I don't know that. I'm just throwing it out there. I think he, you get this a lot when in the NBA. So it's with PJ Carlesimo and Calipari was kind of stubborn and he went back to college. They say it's a different lifestyle when you're in the NBA, right, than in college. And of course, you don't have to do the recruiting and everything like that. Um, so Billy Donovan, I mean, this is his third stop, right? In the NBA. Wasn't he with OKC, then Washington, and now with the Bulls the last few years. So he probably likes the NBA, but his career reminds me, NBA career reminds me of PJ Carlesimo, who had a great college career, Seton Hall, and then kind of bounced around in the NBA a little bit. If Billy Donovan could probably go back to college and pick everything up like that, although it's different, right? You have the NIL now that you didn't have when, he left Florida years ago. So, but I think he's a great coach. I think he just hasn't found the right situation in the NBA yet, you know. But I think if you put him back at a college like that, but it also kind of breaks the Dean Smith, Roy Williams to Hubert Davis, Matt Doherty, I think was coach for a little while in there. I think it kind of breaks that lineage, which maybe North Carolina needs, to just go in a different direction, but with somebody that has a lot of experience like Billy Donovan. Um, but anyway, let's talk about the excitement real quick with St. John's. I mean, tonight you've got some great games. You've got Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois. I think Illinois is back, right? It's been a minute for them, but remember when you and I were watching Final Fours in your teens, man, Illinois was making it every year for a while. They had that great final against North Carolina, I remember. And some of the players stayed in the NBA for a while.
D
But
something, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. D Brown, I think.
D Brown.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kept wanting to say D Gordon, and I knew that wasn't
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. But they're playing Houston, and you gotta really like Kelvin Sampson and the consistency of that Houston team over the last 5, 6 years, from Quentin Grimes and that team, and I think they've been to two Final Fours in the last 5 years. So Nebraska had never won a tournament game, and they're here. They are in the Sweet 16 now. Iowa with that great win over Florida was amazing. 19 points down, and they come back and they win. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of North Carolina. Lost. They was 16 points down, but Iowa, that was a comeback. You got Arizona, Arkansas, and I think Arkansas has a great chance with Calipari to win that tonight. And then Texas, Purdue. Texas coached by Sean Miller from that was with Arizona. He's built that program up nicely, but Purdue is still good. I mean, that coach is really good as well. So any favorites you're looking at tonight, and then we'll briefly talk about St. John's.
Honestly, I haven't watched it as much as I
That's
should
right. You were
be.
away. Yeah, you were. Yeah,
Yeah, I as we traveled Saturday,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know. I do really like Arizona.
yeah,
Think that they
yeah,
think that they really like we talked about that and how their program seems to be a little bit better.
yeah,
I want to see Illinois in there too. That'd
yeah,
be
yeah. I figured the Fighting Illini. A lot of these top players though are out, right? The top player from BYU, top guy from North Carolina, top guy from Kansas, who was really good, by the way, in that game against St. John's. Ken, the excitement is really building up here with St. John's. And Ejiofor, oh my gosh, this guy's an NBA player. I could see him being a bruising like power forward. But if you did see the final seconds of that game, for the guy who didn't score a point, and I don't think even took a shot, say, give me the ball on the final play. And Patino, in his press conference, he said, okay. He gives it to him, and he runs all the way down and lays it up. with no time left. What an amazing finish over a team like Kansas. So maybe this is the St. John's team that's as destined. And Patino, it was so cool. He goes, he shakes the hand of the Bill Self, and he's not celebrating or anything. He just walks off, because he's been there a million times before. And so, in his mind, they haven't really accomplished anything yet, getting to the Sweet 16. I thought it was just an incredible moment. And I'm like, can this St. John's team get back to the Final Four? I mean, it is just an exciting time. They've got two or three other really good players, but Ejiofor is clearly the star of that team. So I know you didn't get a chance to watch most of that, but are you excited, St. John's? They play Duke obviously tomorrow night, and like I said, I think Duke is a little vulnerable because of their injuries, and they haven't looked great in these two games that they've won. But are you excited about the possibility of St. John's advancing here in the Sweet 16?
I think it'd be great. I can only imagine the hype that'll be Saturday night
Yeah.
with if they win tonight or
Well, they play
yeah, they
tomorrow.
play
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the hype's Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
Um, because especially I feel like in general, like obviously like we're into college basketball and we're into it more when our team isn't
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
because we're like, oh, like which of these guys will fit really well on the Knicks? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
all of that jazz. And obviously it's great that we're not there. Fun fact, the Knicks, if they beat Charlotte tonight, will clinch a playoff. But remember when that was a big deal?
Oof. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But but I think like it'll really kind of capture New York in a very interesting way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Two also quick side notes. They got the final out to the top of the second,
Okay.
5-2. So
Okay.
Freddie Peralta, don't give up any more runs.
Yeah.
And I did look up on the Crab Lake thing. It does make sense now. Crab Lake casualties. He's saying like after Barry Bonds retired because he kept hitting balls into the Covey Cove and was killing all the crabs.
Okay, that's funny. All right, now that's
That's
funny.
good.
Yeah, but most people, if you're outside of San Francisco, didn't probably get that joke. But that's funny now that you mention it. Listen, this is the last thing I'll say. We'll move over very quick notes on the NBA. We'll get to inspiration. Um, in this part of the country, we just don't get the college hype because we don't have any great college football team. Rutgers maybe, but they haven't been good, really good in a long time. Um, we have college basketball teams that are okay. We got a little excited with Hofstra, Siena, Seton Hall every once in a while is really good. Syracuse is not really close to New York City, but they hired Jerry McNamara, by the way, which I thought was very interesting as their new coach. Um, so this is like our chance now to get excited about a college team. St. John's has kind of been it for all these years, and they've been either mediocre or bad for a long time. So I think, like you said, if they beat Duke, the excitement is going to be tremendous on Sunday. It really will be. All right, just some brief NBA notes. The Knicks have now won seven in a row, which is good. They're 48 and 25, so they're on track for those 55 wins and hopefully a trip to the finals, right? That was our prediction this year. But some notes from last night, the Hawks are 9 games over 500 all of a sudden, man. They beat the Pistons last night. I switched over to that was the only thing about watching on Netflix. You can't turn on the commercials. You're stuck kind of on the app. But I said, man, this looks like a close game. Let me turn to this and the Pistons could have won it with a couple of last minute shots that missed. Any concern on the Hawks? I mean, they're looking like a really good team after they traded Trae Young.
That was the part I was going to say. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they're doing this without Trae Young.
Yeah.
Um, but also they could be the team that could like I think when we look at the Eastern Conference, I think the assumption is that the Pistons will get knocked out in either the first or second round, which might be unfair. And if Cade Cunningham comes back and he's fully healthy, then we'll see.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, I wouldn't be that surprised if it was the Hawks that kind of pulled that.
Yeah.
Could they make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals? I would be shocked
Yeah. I would
because I
too.
can't see them beating the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Celtics. But
Yeah. They're building something there. And that Quinn Snyder, I mean, he's proven to be a good, really good coach. And he's one of those guys that also came from the college ranks, played at Duke, was assistant coach there for a while, and then coached Missouri, and they were really good under him. And you haven't heard nothing about Missouri since he left. And then he was really good with the Jazz all those years, and now here with the Hawks. So we'll see what happens. Another note from last night: the Celtics beat the Thunder, which I was surprised that wasn't the national game last night. They chose Hawks Pistons instead of Celtics Thunder in Boston, and but the Celtics stopped their I think it was 11, 12 game winning streak. I think it was the first time that the Thunder lost in March. Any significance to that?
Mm. I mean, we could be looking at a preview of the finals. I
Right.
hope not.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
the Celtics still scare me,
they
honestly, out
do.
of the most.
They do. And the Knicks and Celtics have almost identical records, right? I think Celtics have played one less game. I think they're 48 and 24. Knicks are 48 and 25. The T-Wolves beat the Rockets relatively handily, but the Rockets are struggling of late, and those are the two teams kind of battling it out for the 5 and 6 spot. I don't think either one will fall into the play-in. I think the play-in in the West is going to be set, right? Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Trailblazers. They'll probably jockey for some position, there. Um, but any significance with the T Wolves putting a little bit of distance between them and the Rockets?
No, the Rockets is going to be a very interesting conversation come the offseason. Because, like, I feel like they were very hyped, but, like, you're looking at the West, you obviously have OKC, you got San Antonio. You could probably put the Lakers, if not up there, close to it. Can the Rockets beat any of those guys in a 7 game series? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. You're right. I think they've got the talent, but and they've got a great coach too. But something is a little off with them, and I'm not sure exactly what that is, but you're right. Well, NBA is going to get fun. We'll talk more NBA in the next couple of weeks. There's only 9 games left for the Knicks. For probably most teams is under 10 or less. So we're looking staring right at NBA playoffs getting ready to start. All right, ready for some inspiration?
Let's go.
All right, mine is a little different this week because I was reminded of the amazing story of Ron LaFleur. Have you ever heard of him?
I don't think so.
The baseball player, mostly in the 70s, early 80s, and mostly with the Detroit Tigers. Here's his story, Ken, and some of this I'm going to read real quick, word for word. He grew up in Detroit, in a rough area in Detroit, and he very at a very early age took to the streets. He actually started using heroin at the age of 11.
Ooh.
If you could believe that or not. Um, and so he used to break into places with folks. He wasn't so much in a gang, but he got into the wrong crowd. And at the age of 15, he knocked over a bar with a rifle. He had a rifle in his hands, and the police pulled up. Someone called the police while they were still in there. The police pulled up. Wasn't a shootout. He gave up right away. And even at that age of 15, he got sentenced to 15 years in prison. And
Mm.
so he serves, he goes to prison, and it's called the Jackson State Penitentiary that he's in. Now, Ron LaFleur never played any organized sports, but he was pretty athletic, but really had never played baseball before. And this is the part that I'm going to read word for word. He's incarcerated on April 28th, 1970. The first organized baseball game that he played was for inmates. Jimmy Corella was a fellow inmate who was in prison for extortion. He convinced his longtime friend, Jimmy Butasiras, I probably pronounced his name wrong, he co-owned a Detroit bar that was frequented by many Detroit sports celebrities. And he asked him would he speak to his good friend Billy Martin, who was then the manager of the Detroit Tigers, and asked him to come out and observe Ron LaFleur. Martin visited the Jackson State Prison on May 23rd, 1973. Martin then helped LaFleur get permission for day parole and a tryout at Tiger Stadium in June of that year. In July of 1973, the Tigers signed LaFleur to a contract which enabled him to meet the conditions for parole. He was paid a $5,000 bonus and $500 a month for the rest of the 1973 season. He was assigned to Class A. The Class A team was managed by Jim Leyland. So the next year, he played for the Lakeland Tigers in Class A, but after hitting 331 with 45 steals. Now, again, he hadn't played any organized baseball, high school on up. He had 45 steals in 102 games. He was promoted to AAA. He made his major league debut with the Tigers on August 4th, 1974. So, again, put it in perspective. He's in prison, had never played baseball before. Um, Billy Martin comes to see him. Billy Martin cuts a deal, with the warden and everything to get him out and kind of get him on parole. And a year and change later, he's called up to the major leagues. So in 74, he split time in center field. He was largely known as a base stealer. In his prime, though, he also hit for average and moderate power. He, along with Mark Fidrych in 19, were primary reasons that the Tigers' attendance rose in 1976 by close to 5,000 people per game over the previous year. Both players made the 1976 All-Star game, yet the team never finished higher than fourth in the American League East standings during LaFleur's tenure. But in 1977, he hit 16 home runs and he batted 325. Those were both career highs. But 1978 was really his career year, where he led the league in singles, 153, runs scored 126, and he had 68 stolen bases. And he finished second in hits. I think probably to Rod Carew that year. He had 198 total hits. And he had 741 plate appearances, which was the most in the majors as well. But after the 1979 season, he hit 300 and he stole 78 bases. He was traded to the Expos. But in 1980, he came closest to playoff action as he stole a career high 97 bases. I mean, need I say more? I mean, he played another year, I think, with the Expos and 2 more years with the White Sox before he retired. He's gone around as a motivational speaker since. He's in his 70s now, and he tells his story. And it's just one of these stories. They made a book about it. They made a movie about it back in the 70s. It was a TV movie. Not a lot of people saw it, but I think that's a story that they should retell again. Because you think about the redemption of this kid who was definitely on the wrong track, winds up in prison at the age of 15, and then winds up in the major leagues a few short years later. But not only that, winds up being a two-time All-Star, leading the league in stolen bases, and actually having a very productive major league. And he owed everything. He said that he credited everything to Billy Martin. Him and Billy Martin were close up until the time Billy Martin passed away. LaFleur is still alive. But it is an amazing story. I didn't see anything of him talking about his faith as I was looking him up. But boy, oh boy, God had his hand on him for sure, So Ron LaFleur of the Detroit Tigers in the 70s, Expos, early 80s, from prison to being an all-star. That's my inspiration today.
I can't get over 97 steals. That is insane.
In 1980, when stealing wasn't that, prevalent, amazing. Yeah.
That's wild. I thought about a couple of different things for inspiration. I saw a college basketball thing that I think I might do next week if I remember. Um, but one that really stuck out to me that I was from last night. I don't know if you caught this. Aaron Boone was doing one of the interviews, and they had asked him like, "What's some of the things that you ask your players to do as you start opening day?" And he said something that's very interesting, and I think it's the idea of giving honor to those that deserve it. And he says, "Go and thank someone that helped you get here." And so he said that he went and thanked his mom, gave her a call, and said like, "Hey, thanks for
Yeah.
supporting me and getting me where I am, and I know you and Dad are watching the game and everything like that." And like I like that as a way of not just like, hey, like you're here as a major leaguer, but also making sure that you have that sense of gratitude. Like
Yeah.
no matter who you are, you didn't get here alone.
Yeah.
And and especially as like believers, there's a reason why we are the body of Christ and not the hand of Christ or whatever. Like we all work together. And whether it's as a pastor, whether it's as just someone working, like who you have with who your team is, your clients, customers, whatever you might say, you can't get to where you are by yourself.
Yeah.
And I like that he was like, on opening day, I always make sure that I tell my team that make sure you thank somebody. So thank someone today for getting you where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Because there's so many people that are on each of our journeys, right? That helped us, along the way. And you even think about, some teachers and stuff like that. That's great. I love to hear that from Aaron Boone, fantastic. All right, lots to talk about next week, right? We'll talk about, what I do miss, Kenny? I do miss, I said this maybe last week or a week ago. I do miss when, for years, that Monday was the best day in sports. It used to be Monday was opening day. Usually you'd have a Sunday night game, right? Usually with the Reds, because that was the tradition back then. And then you'd have Monday, everybody opened up, and you'd watch the games during the day, and then 9 o'clock, you got the championship game, NCAA. So it's kind of gotten a little bit off there, but today is a good day because you got a lot of good college basketball action tonight. 4 games actually, tonight and especially with opening day, and you got Dodgers Diamondbacks. So I'm gonna go watch the Mets. I don't have anything on my calendar until 7 o'clock tonight. So I'm gonna go watch a little bit of the Mets now. So you ready to take us home?
Yeah, just for a fun fact, Paul Skeens has never given up 5 runs in a game
You said
until
that.
today.
Wow. You called it. You called it. You were right.
Um, I also looked at his game log. The only time he's thrown less than 4 innings was it was the second to last game of last year, the year before, facing the Yankees, and it was clear like we want to get you work, but we don't want you to get hurt. So he threw 2 innings, and that was it.
Wow. Wow.
So good for the Mets. You've done something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah. All right. Good
So
start. I gotta go
here we
home
go.
watch the Mets. Go ahead.
There you go. So in the meantime, this is Kenny Squared N,
Kenny.
Sports on the Positive Tip. We'll see you guys next week.